Good evening, students. I welcome you all in the discussion of MA Economics entrance of 2017 of Banaras Hindu University. In the last video, we had discussed from question number 1 to 10. Today we will take question number 11 to 40. We will discuss the 30 questions in detail. So let's start with the first question, that is question number 11. In measuring price elasticity, which one is the dependent variable and which one will be the independent variable? So in price elasticity of demand, price is independent variable and quantity demanded is dependent variable. Price elasticity of demand is equal to quantity demanded of a commodity, percentage change in quantity demanded of a commodity upon percentage change in price. Now price is taken on y-axis and the price is independent variable because any change in price causes change in demand. Since price is causing change in demand, price is independent and demand is dependent upon price. So the price elasticity of demand, price is independent variable while quantity is dependent variable. You also know that this price elasticity of demand ranges between 0 to infinite. When the price elasticity of demand is 0, it is called perfectly inelastic demand, and if the price elasticity of demand is infinite, it is called perfectly elastic demand. Now move to the next question. In which of the following industry structure is the entry of new firms the most difficult? In which of the following industry structure means in which of the following market forms the industry of new firms is the most difficult? So we know that entry of new firms is most difficult in the market of pure monopoly, because under pure monopoly there are large number of high barriers are there on the entry of new firms, while under pure competition and monopolistic competition there is no restriction on the entry of new firms. Although restrictions are also there on the entry of new firms in oligopoly market, but the highest degree of restriction is there under pure monopoly, and therefore entry of new firms is most difficult under pure monopoly. Pure monopoly is defined as the market firm where the entry of new firms is the most difficult. So next question number 13. The demand curve confronted by the individual purely competitive firm is. Demand curve confronted by the individual purely competitive firm is. It is asking that what will be the shape of demand curve in a purely competitive firm or in a purely competitive market. So in a purely competitive market, the demand curve is perfectly elastic. Purely competitive firm refers to the perfect competition. Under perfect competition, if only 3 of the characteristics are satisfied by any firm, that is homogeneous product, freedom of entry and exit, and a large number of buyers and sellers, that is called a purely competitive firm. And in that case, demand curve or AR curve or price curve is perfectly elastic and it is parallel to x-axis. Now next question. The producer will substitute capital for labor till he reaches that point of isoquant at which. Producer will substitute capital for labor till he reaches that point of isoquant at which. You know that at isoquant, as the producer moves towards x-axis, he uses more of the one factor and reduces the another factor, and he does it to attain the equilibrium. In the equilibrium, the slope of isoquant is equal to the slope of isocost. Now, the slope of isoquant is called marginal rate of technical substitution. MRTS is the slope of isoquant, and it is equal to the slope of isocost, that is W upon R if we have taken labor and capital. So, and that is equal to MPL upon MPK, marginal productivity of labor and capital. Therefore, we can say that as a producer is reaching to the point substituting capital for labor, then he will continue this process till MRTS equals to the ratio of MPL and MPK. So the correct answer will be 4th. Now question number 15. Arrange the proponents of marginal productivity theory of factor reward in chronological order. Marginal productivity theory is the first reliable theory in the distribution market, and it was given by so many economists like J.B. Clark, Marshall, Walras, Jevons. Although the chronology is difficult to arrange, even then the most appropriate answer is third, A, C, D and B. But keep in mind that this question has been asked in 2012 UGC NET examination, and later on this question was deleted because of so many confusions between the chronology when was given by which economist. But even for your convenience, the correct answer is third. Now next question. All of the following curves are U-shaped except, yes, there are so many cost curves which are U-shaped. Average variable cost AVC curve is U-shaped. AC curve is also U-shaped, but average fixed cost curve is not U-shaped. It is a rectangular hyperbola curve. And AFC curve is rectangular hyperbola because it is calculated from TFC. TFC upon Q equal to AFC, and TFC remains constant. Therefore, AFC curve is rectangular hyperbola. The marginal cost curve is also U-shaped, and this marginal cost curve intersects AVC and AC curves at their minimum points. So next question. Question number 17. If the quantity of a commodity demanded remains unchanged, quantity demanded remains unchanged as its price changes, the coefficient of price elasticity of demand is. So if there is no change in quantity demanded, means percentage change in quantity demanded is 0 even when price changes by 10, 20 or any value, then the price elasticity of demand will be 0, because price elasticity of demand equal to percentage change in quantity demanded upon percentage change in price. So if percentage change in quantity demanded is 0, then the price elasticity of demand will be 0, and this will be called perfectly inelastic demand, and the demand curve will be a vertical line parallel to y-axis. So next question, question number 18. Price paid by the consumer for a product and the average revenue of the producer are. Price and AR, average revenue, whether both are same or different. So both are the same amount. We know that average revenue is calculated as TR upon Q. TR upon Q, total revenue upon output. And a total revenue equals to price into quantity. Therefore, if we replace this AR equal to TR upon Q and TR place पर रख दे price into quantity, then price into quantity से quantity कट जाएगा, तो AR will be equal to price. Therefore, price is equal to AR. Both are the same amount. Now next question. AR and marginal revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue are the same when price. So AR and MR are same only when the price remains constant. Price does not change, and it happens in the market of perfect competition. Under perfect competition, price remains constant, that does not change, and therefore AR is equal to MR, and both these curves are parallel to x-axis. While in other markets, in monopolistic competition and monopoly, AR and MR curves are downward sloping, and MR curve lies below the AR curve. Next question, question number 20. The relationship between AR and MR and elasticity of demand is given by the equation. So the correct equation is MR equal to AR E minus 1 upon E. Actually, the original equation is ED equal to AR upon AR minus AR. AD equal to AR upon AR minus MR. Elasticity of demand equal to average revenue upon average revenue minus marginal revenue. And from that equation, we can derive that marginal revenue equals to AR in bracket elasticity of demand minus 1 upon E, elasticity of demand. Now next question. When the elasticity of demand is unity, ED equals to 1, MR is. So when ED equals to 1, MR will be 0. Just we were talking that ED equals to AR upon AR minus MR. So if ED equals to 1, then AR upon AR minus MR will be equal to each other. That is, when MR will be 0, then AR upon AR minus MR will be equal to each other, and then ED will be equal to unity and MR will be 0. जब ED 1 होगी तो MR 0 होगी. इसको आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं ED इक्वल टू AR अपॉन AR माइनस MR से. Now next question. In practice, the reward paid to a factor depends upon the reward paid to a factor. जो factors of production है, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, उनको जो reward हम पेमेंट करते हैं वह किस बात पर डिपेंड करता है? तो it depends upon the productivity of factors of production and the price of the product they prepare, they make. Price of the product it makes. We should know that the demand for product is a direct demand, but demand for factors is derived demand, and a demand for factors directly depends upon the demand of the product which they make, and therefore the price paid, the reward paid to a factor depends upon the productivity of factor and the price of the product they make. So correct answer will be first. Now question number 23. When VMPX is greater than MRPX is greater than PX we have. So when value of marginal product is greater than marginal revenue product is greater than price of X, this will be the situation of exploitation, and exploitation is a situation in which the factor is paid less than the value of marginal product. Mr. John Robinson has said that if a factor of production is paid its payment less than the value of its marginal product, then it is said that the factor is exploited by the employer. Now in monopoly market we know that there is a single seller, but in monopsony market there is a single buyer, and in both these markets the employees are exploited in double ways. Therefore we can say that when VMPX, that is value of marginal product of X, is greater than marginal revenue product of X is greater than price of X, we have both monopolistic and monopsonistic exploitation. Now next question number 24. A firm will receive abnormal profit. A firm will receive abnormal profit in the short run if. फर्म को abnormal profit कब होगी? तो if a firm has to receive abnormal profit, then the value of marginal product should be greater than the marginal factor cost. Value of marginal product should be greater than the marginal factor cost. Now how is value of marginal product calculated? So value of marginal product equal to marginal physical product into AR. That is value of marginal product, and if it is greater than marginal factor cost, then the firm will receive abnormal profit. If both will be equal to each other, then the firm will earn normal profit, and if VMP is less than MFC, marginal factor cost, then the firm will incur loss. Now next question. The relation between rent and price is as follows. Rent and price का relation क्या है? Rent determines price. Rent has nothing to do with the price and it is determined independently. Rent is price determined, not price determining. Yes, correct answer is this. The relation between rent and price. This question has been taken from the Ricardian theory of rent. And in Ricardian theory of rent, Ricardo clearly says that rent is determined by the price and it does not determine the price of the product. Ricardo has taken the example of Karl, and through the example of Karl, he has explained the concept of scarcity rent, and differential rent. This scarcity and differential rent he has explained in his classical theory of rent, and he says that rent is determined by price, rent is price determined, not price determining. Now next question. Quasi-rent occurs because of the application of the principle of. You know that quasi-rent concept has been given by Alfred Marshall. And quasi rent is applied to those machines, those tools which supply is inelastic in short run. Which supply is inelastic in short run means which supply cannot be changed in short run. And in the long run, since their supply can be changed, therefore there will be no quasi rent in the long run. Now next question number 27. The classical theory of interest lays more emphasis on. So the classical theory of interest lays more emphasis on real factors or real forces, and they have taken real forces such as thriftiness, time preference, productivity of capital, etc. Now one loanable fund theory was there after the classical theory of interest, and in loanable fund theory they took both real factors as well as monetary factors. And later on, when John Maynard Keynes gave his liquidity preference theory, he focused on liquidity preference on monetary factors. So the classical theory of interest, which is also known as the real theory of interest, lays more emphasis on real factors such as thriftiness, time preference, productivity of capital, etc. Now next question, which of the following motive refers to holding money which is interest elastic? So this question has been taken from liquidity preference theory of J.M. Keynes, and Keynes explains that money is demanded for three purposes. Money is demanded for three purposes: for transaction, for speculative, and for precautionary motive. So when he talks about transaction and precautionary motive, he says that this transaction and precautionary motive demand for money depends upon the level of income, but the speculative motive demand for money depends upon the rate of interest. Therefore the speculative motive of demand for money is interest elastic, and there is inverse relationship between the speculative demand for money and interest rate, while transaction and precautionary motive of demand for money depends upon the level of income directly. Now next question, which of the following is an implicit cost of production? So we know that implicit cost refers to those estimated expenditure which are actually not borne by the producer because he is owning that factor of production, and the payment and those factors which he directly purchases from the market, for which he directly makes payment, that expenditure is called explicit cost. So wages of labor is the example of explicit cost because direct payment is being made. Charges of electricity is also the example of explicit cost. Interest on entrepreneur's own capital. If entrepreneur uses his own capital, he has not to make payment of interest to anybody else, but even its implicit cost will be the part of economic cost of production. So entrepreneur's own capital is the example of implicit cost of production. Even payment of raw material will also be directly paid, and this will be the example of explicit cost. Here we should keep in our mind that when we talk about economic cost includes both explicit and implicit cost, but when we talk about accounting cost, it includes only explicit cost. Question number 30. The shape of which of the following is rectangular hyperbola? This is very easy question, and we know that average fixed cost curve is rectangular hyperbola, while TC curve starts from y-axis, upward sloping, first concave and then convex to the origin. AVC curve is U-shaped curve, that is because of law of variable proportion. TVC curve is also an upward sloping curve, starts from the point of origin, first concave and then convex to the origin. Next question, question number 31. The marginal rate of technical substitution, MRTS, dash, as we move along the isoquant from left to right. So as we move isoquant from left to right, the marginal rate of technical substitution decreases. isoquant पर जैसे जैसे आप नीचे जाएंगे, जो MRTS है, जो slope है isoquant का, MRTS is the slope of isoquant, it goes on diminishing, and therefore isoquant curve is convex to the origin. You must keep in your mind that isoquant shows the various combination of two factors of production which yield the same level of output. आइसोक्वांट उन दो फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन के डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशंस को शो करता है जो कि सेम लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, 5 rupee increase in the price of a commodity X causes quantity to decrease by 20 units. Elasticity of demand is. So only change in price and change in quantity is given. There is not given percentage change, so we can't calculate price elasticity of demand here. Question number 33, the indifference curve which is L-shaped represents. So if the indifference curve is L-shaped, it represents that both the goods are complementary, both the goods are perfect complementary of each other. Generally, indifference curve is downward sloping convex to the origin. But if both the goods are perfectly complementary, the indifference curve will have the shape of L curve, L-shaped, or it will be right angled. On the other hand, if both the goods are perfect substitute, the indifference curve will be downward sloping straight line. So next question, question number 34. The curve showing relationship between change in income and the corresponding change in quantities of commodities purchased is known as. ऐसा कर्व जो कि इनकम में चेंज और उसके साथ साथ जो कमोडिटी हम परचेज करते हैं उसकी क्वांटिटी में चेंज को शो करता है, सिंपली दैट इज कॉल्ड इनकम कंजप्शन कर्व. Income consumption curve shows the change in quantities of commodities purchased with the change in income of the consumer, while price consumption curve shows the change in consumption of commodity due to change in prices of the commodities. Demand curve shows inverse relationship between price of a commodity and its quantity demanded, while supply curve shows positive relationship between price of a commodity and its quantity supplied. Now next question, if MC equal to MR equal to AR equal to AC, this will happen. So this will happen in the long run under perfect competition. We know that for equilibrium MC must be equal to MR, and in perfect competition MR is equal to AR, and in the long run under perfect competition a producer earns normal profit. It means the minimum point of AC curve will be tangent to AR curve. So in the long run under perfect competition MC equal to MR equal to AR equal to AC. Next question, the equilibrium prices of duopoly model are obtained in the intersections of their reaction curve. It is correct in the case of. तो duopoly model जो है जिसमें कि reactions करके द्वारा equilibrium को शो किया गया है, that was shown by Bertrand. In the Bertrand model of duopoly, the equilibrium has been given, the equilibrium has been arrived by the intersection of the reaction curves of the two firms. We know that under duopoly there will be two sellers, and the point where their reaction curve will be intersect, at the point there will be stable equilibrium. This theory was given by Bertrand duopoly model. Now next question, how did Keynes propose to solve the problem of high unemployment? So we know that Keynes is one of the greatest economists of 20th century, and he has mainly focused on the government intervention to increase the demand for goods and services and to eliminate the problem of high unemployment. So Keynes has given prime focus on the government role, and he says that when government will increase the demand for goods and services, the problem of high unemployment can be solved. He does not focus on the wage flexibility. Classical economist has focused on wage flexibility, but according to Keynes, wages are not flexible, and he gives important role to government. He says that any problem of high unemployment can be cured by the government intervention only. Now the next question, which of the following will occur as a result of an improvement in technology? So when there will be improvement in technology, it will shift the aggregate supply curve to the rightward. It will shift the aggregate supply curve to the rightward. Aggregate supply is the sum total of production of all the goods and services in the economy during the period of 1 year. This aggregate supply is same as the national income of the country, and this aggregate supply curve is an upward sloping line. And when there will be improvement in technology, this aggregate supply curve will shift to the rightward. Now next question, which of the following workers is most likely to be classified as structurally unemployed? So structural unemployment is a situation in which a person becomes unemployed due to change in technology, due to change in structure of the economy. और structure of the economy का एक major example, change in structure of the economy का एक major example है change in technology. Now see fourth option, a worker who is unemployed because his skills are obsolete. So now his skills are becoming obsolete, he is not oriented to the modern technique, therefore the worker will be classified as structurally unemployed. Structural unemployment वो situation है जिसमें कि due to change in technology या due to structural change in the economy a person becomes unemployed. And now the last question for the today's video, the permanent income hypothesis that establishes relationship between permanent income and permanent consumption argues that the relationship depends upon permanent income hypothesis. We all know that this is a very important income consumption hypothesis given by Milton Friedman, and in that theory he explains that permanent consumption is directly dependent upon permanent income, and it depends, the relationship between permanent consumption and permanent income is direct, that is Cp equal to KYP, and this relationship depends upon three factors. First one is the rate of interest, second one is the ratio of non-human wealth to income, and third one is taste and preferences. So correct answer will be second. Rate of interest से inversely related है. If rate of interest will be higher, people will save more and will consume less. This is very important theory given by Milton Friedman, the permanent income hypothesis. So in the next video we will again take more and more questions. Keep on learning. Thank you.